So one of the most overlooked yet important qualities of planets is the gender of the planet. And we don't talk about it that much. I think some of it is because in the West, especially, there's this whole kind of thing around gender, you know, that it brings some kind of bias, like, well, we've evolved beyond just gender, and there's kind of relativism, which is kind of insidious when it comes to astrological scholarship. We tend to judge things rather than just see them with neutrality in their limited use. The planets of gender, which are Sun, Mars, and Jupiter, actually originate that quality of gender, and then, but what they do is they orient us toward those virtuous masculine qualities of action and externalizing life. The external approach to life, which is about moving forward, moving beyond just what we've gathered and what we've experienced and what we've enjoyed, which is what the feminine planets are more oriented towards, which is Venus and the Moon. So Venus and the Moon are the two feminine planets, which are about enjoying life, feeling good, gathering and holding and internalizing things, and really pondering and reflecting upon the inner meaning and value of things. And then that sort of stability and structure from which we come from, which includes things like our family and our loved ones, our feelings, our values, which are more related to the female planets. That's kind of a foundation from which we then grow and expand and project outward and grow beyond just where we came from and our family and what is making us comfortable and happy now. This is what the masculine planets do. So there's an intention behind those planets. Venus and the Moon have an intention to be happy. Sun, Mars, Jupiter have an intention to take action and to grow externally and to figure things out intellectually. They're fiery and act in accordance with righteousness and truth and pursue higher principles. This is what the masculine planets do. So this is a balancing act that's always going on. And the two planets that have as much to do with balancing these things as any other are Mercury and Saturn, which are the two gender neutral planets. They don't have a bias toward feeling good or acting good. You could say simply that female planets are more oriented towards feeling good, and masculine planets are more oriented towards doing good. It's a simplicity, but it's a truth. And Mercury and Saturn are not oriented towards those biases. Mercury, at its best, is the faculty of discrimination, which doesn't have a bias toward feeling good or doing good, but actually trying to understand what this process is doing. In order for us to really feel good or do good, we need intelligence into the process. We need some discrimination. We need some dispassion, something that's not biased towards one outcome or the other. Really important faculty of life. This is why Mercury is also related to humor, laughing at our own mistakes, and seeing things with an equanimity that doesn't have this charge around preference. This is Mercury. Mercury is neutral, like children are neutral. As it relates to the planets of gender, Mars, Sun, and Jupiter also have to do with like masculine sexuality, if you want to look at it that way, and Venus and the Moon with feminine reflective sexuality of beauty and attraction. Mercury is gender neutral, kind of like children are gender neutral. Before they become sexual, they're just kind of stimulated and fun, and it's just kind of not an issue to have this strong gender identity, which again leads to a lot of playfulness, experimentation, neutrality, openness. It could mean this, it could mean that. So at its best, Mercury is that quality of gender neutrality that brings a lot of intelligence because we don't have this bias. Saturn is also neutral. And the reason Saturn is neutral, or the way that Saturn is neutral, is kind of like old people are neutral. At a certain age, the charge around gender and sexuality kind of calms down, The men start to become kind of feeble and not so jacked up, and, women also, they stop being so charged up around their beauty and looks, if you want to look at it literally sexually, but also as it relates to the neutrality of older people. Once all of that calms down, then we start to measure things in larger, on larger terms. Once we have more important things to worry about, that sort of preference and bias and heat of gender calms down. So Saturn is also very related to the neutrality. Now, Saturn is neutral because we need to make a cold, rational assessment of things as they've unfolded through time. Now, Mercury is very much in the present. Mercury is a Rajasic planet where we need to be assessing every moment. Like, is this right? Is that wrong? What did that mean? What's that mean? Like, when we're in conversation, it's good to not have all this charge and to be all amped up. It's good to be neutral and flexible and open. This is the neutrality of Mercury in action, because Mercury is very active. Saturn is actually more subdued, and he's taking a more hard, long, rational look at things that have unfolded over time, because we need to be practical and rational about what we need to make a commitment to and what we need to let go of. The same kind of neutrality as Mercury. It's not charged around, I want to do good, which is the masculine planets, or I want to feel good, which are the feminine planets. Saturn is, I need to make a commitment to what's actually true and real. Not based on what I want, but based on what's happened. The power of experience. Like, what's actually happened here? Beyond all of my preference, what is the most important? Based on the lessons I've learned in life, and you know what? Even though I might love this person, we're just not going in the same direction. This is big Saturn stuff, so I just got to let that go. Even though it might be painful, it's for the best. This is like a cold, rational Saturn decision. Or maybe even something like, maybe this isn't the one that I loved so much, but we have so much in common, and this is really the person who's best for my soul in this lifetime. Or I'm using relationship as an example, but even let's say it's a career choice. Maybe this isn't the career that is going to give me the most fame and recognition, but it's really the kind of work I want to do. It's going to be the most rewarding. I can really make a commitment to this beyond all the passion. So again, Saturn is long-term rational assessment of things in a neutral way. Mercury is in the moment rational assessments and flexibility to adapt and adjust. Right now, both of those planets are exalted. Saturn is exalted in Libra, and Mercury is exalted in Virgo for the next few weeks. And this is a great time to really tap into the power of neutrality. And how neutral are you? How much neutrality do you have? It's a great time to really check this out and learn this quality of life. It's really important. It's really important that we have dispassion, that we have discrimination. And both Saturn and Mercury are the planets that bring that. So this is very important. And if you find this to be important, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you can benefit at this point in your life by tapping into a deeper level of dispassion and discrimination. Thousands of people are going to see this, and it really helps me and helps everybody if you leave a comment and let me know what you think about this. So go ahead and do that in this blog post and let me know what you think about this.